What's up? How are we? I hope you've all had a very good weekend. I did. It was nice. Got some good lifting in, good gains, and even went out. I was social for once. How about that? Weird. But yeah, so I really hope you guys did have a good weekend, and we're going to crack on into one of the possibly biggest issues that we're facing at the moment in general, because so many people out there have anxiety. So the statistics say that it's around 60%, 60 to 70%, people suffer anxiety. But I tell you what, the number of people that I see that have anxiety, it's actually a fair bit higher. And one of the focuses that we at JCF have is in actually relieving that anxiety, reducing it, and making you feel a whole heap better. Because at one point or another, I reckon obviously every single one of us would have experienced some form of anxiety, okay? Some form of anxiety. And the thing is that what it gets pushed onto us is that it's just a thing. You just kind of cop it, and you gotta work through it. You gotta go see a fucking shrink, or you gotta talk with someone about your feelings, or not holding emotions, and like all that bullshit. And like, to be perfectly honest, a lot of it is bullshit. Yes, there's some that needs to be done. Some of that stuff you do need to go see a shrink. But for most of the time, you can actually alleviate it yourself really, really easy through diet and supplementing. And we do this extensively. So I work with guys in my anti-aging course through all this stuff. I work with a heap of people, a heap of my advanced athletes, and even just some of my general guys as well. Everyone, we work on alleviating this and reducing this anxiety, because honestly, it sucks. It really, really does, and it's not something that you have to deal with. So throughout this video, we're going to cover all that. Now, as always, let's crack on and get some questions going, because you guys, all of you, have questions. So ask them away. That's what these things are for. This is for us to spend time together, for us to talk about it, okay? I'll even reference about my training in here so you can pick my brains about what I'm doing currently in order to get the results that I'm looking for. Now, I'm just going to share this in the Shred community right now, and I'll be with you. So if you have any questions, post them up now, and I'll get into them before we even start covering anxiety. Oh, and one big thing as well, make sure that you do like or comment or something, or get involved in this, because otherwise Zuckerberg is going to hide me from you, okay? You won't be able to see my lovely face, and so you need to make sure to click like if you want to see more of these videos. Okie doke. Bang, shared in the Shred community. What's the next thing I'm going to do? I've got to give you guys the link to the Shred community if you're not already in it. Okie doke. You going to let me leave a comment, Facebook? Stupid thing. There we go. Sid, how are you, legend? Good to have you on board. Who we got? We've got Farm AF1. Good to see you, brother. Matty Fletcher, Joseph Donahue, Alex D, Danny Burford, Jimmy Jenko, how are you, cuz? Arnott, Tommy Arnott, how are you, brother? Paul Evans just said Jesus is God. Jesus and God are actually different, brother. If you want to watch that one, it's slightly different. Daniel Zapapas. Merry Christmas, Paul, to you too. And Anthony's saying, hey bro, your vids have helped me out heaps, man, you're a boss. Thank you very much for watching, man. I hope that they do help you out. So much of this stuff is so easy once you've got it. And it's just the worst thing is there aren't terribly many people putting this type of information out there. And that's why I'm going to be doing these things every single week, so that you guys can get forwards and you don't have to suffer the same shit that everybody else does. Because so much of it is preventable. So guys, what I want to know is, what are your biggest struggles with training or whatnot? And I want you to ask me them as well. So while we're going to go through and we're going to get into, all this anxiety stuff, talking about it, how you can alleviate it, what it is, all that sort of stuff, I want you to go and I want you to ask me your biggest questions, your biggest issues that you have with your training, your nutrition, your supplementation, the whole lot, all right, as we're going to get into this. G'day Dale, we've got the Fizz on, Sammy Andrews, how are you, brother? Luke Hagley, legend. All right, let's crack on in. Okie doke. So first things first, with anxiety, if we're going to look at fixing it, we need to understand what it actually is. So anxiety is actually a good thing if you look at it from an evolutionary perspective. So if you look at it and you look back to, when we weren't living all our comfortable Western lifestyles, where we had fucking iPhones and laptops and, James Cant talking shit and ranting on social media, back then a lot of our life was about surviving and staying alive. And so where anxiety came into it was that when you had a stressful situation arise, you would flick a switch, you would go into fight or flight mode, and it would increase your alertness, it would decrease your ability and your need to sleep, okay? It would make you hyperfunctional. It would elevate your cortisol, so you'd mobilize your energy, so you'd have heaps of energy floating around, you're ready to go whenever you need to, and it would lessen your chance, or you lessen your likelihood to reproduce, so shut you down, sexually and reproductively. It would also make you catabolic, so you'd lose muscle, because muscle is very energy expensive. So it does all this sort of stuff, okay? It does all this sort of stuff, and it's actually a good thing for back then. But for you and I who want to get fucking big and shredded and feel good and be happy and live a long lifestyle, it is not terribly good. So the things that cause anxiety, just any sort of stress. So the 5 stresses that I always talk about, they are what causes it. These are your emotional stresses, so your relationships and whatnot, your family, all that sort of stuff. Your psychological stresses like work, perception of stress, living in a busy, fast-paced environment, your physical stress, so how much you're training too much, too little, you're getting active, all that sort of stuff. Your dietary stress, so what you're putting into your mouth, you're putting drugs, alcohol, food, all those sorts of things, which affect your gut. And then also your resting stress, are you sleeping enough? Those sorts of things, okay? And so, once again, if we go back to it, if we are in a very, very stressed state, we need to have that stress there because it allows us to continue to function. So, for example, let's think that we're functioning on very, very low sleep. Right? You got absolutely fuck all sleep, literally nothing. You can't sleep, feel like crap. You don't have any of that. If we didn't get anxiety, we didn't get stressed, we wouldn't have an increase in adrenaline and cortisol, which allowed us to function. Okay, we would literally just be sluggish and lethargic all day, every single day, and so that allows us to function. And that is why a coffee will wake you up after you've had a really bad night's sleep, or why you've had constantly bad sleep, or if you're just generally tired. That's why coffee will wake you up, because it gives you that surge in cortisol, adrenaline and dopamine. Okay, that is how it works, right? Now the thing is with anxiety is that it starts to affect us in lots of ways, and a lot of people don't know this. So when you get constant little bits of stress all the time, it builds up and it actually changes the chemicals in your brain. So for example, when you get anxious, you get a reduction in GABA, alright? Now GABA is the relaxation hormone. It allows you to focus, it allows you to calm down, it allows you to sleep, turn off, it allows you to have a sex drive, libido, allows you to lift weights, allows you to make gains, all those sorts of things. That's what GABA does. And having anxiety brings that down, right the way down. Having low GABA also furthers the anxiety. So it's like a little spiral. So it's a spiral that keeps going. So the more anxious you get, right, the less GABA you got, which means the more anxious you get, which means the less GABA you got. And it just keeps spiraling around like that, and up and up and up and up, until you're really, really super, super wound up, okay? And that is how it works. And then it starts beginning to affect the other hormones, or the neurotransmitters, I should say. So you get a reduction in serotonin after that, you get a reduction in dopamine, and so on. The rest of them cascade after that, okay? And it goes down and down and down and down. And it's the absolute worst. When this starts to happen, you're starting to get anxiety, okay? When this happens, you will notice that you just can't sleep well, okay? You cannot sleep well to save yourself. You have very weird dreams, odd dreams, and often you're waking up constantly throughout the night. You can't turn your brain off. You can't focus on one thing, right? So you'll be on your laptop and you'll have one job to do, and then you end up getting distracted by 5 other things, all right? I know a lot of you can relate to this. You won't be able to focus on a book. You'll be reading a book and then your mind will drift off elsewhere. You won't be able to focus on the one task, okay? You won't be able to stay in the gym for an extended period of time because you'll just feel cooked, okay? As soon as you burn through that initial adrenaline that you got, you just need to sleep because you've got nothing left in the tank. You'll then not be able to recover. So after the gym, you'll be tired, but you'll be shaking, you'll be really, really wired. Okay? That is what happens. You're completely depleting all of your neurotransmitters. But the good thing is that you can fix this. You see, the number one reason that I see in a lot of my clients and the people that I work with, even myself, right, when I do get little bouts of anxiety, which everybody does, right, number one thing that I see is that the gut is always upset when you are getting anxiety. Okay, I can tell you right now, if I eat something, like I did last night, I ate a taco that had a wheat tortilla instead of a corn tortilla. So I accidentally ate gluten last night and it screwed me up. Literally this morning, I was completely off my A game, which for the first time in a very, very long time. all because I ate something which upset my gut last night and absolutely smacked me for 6. Okay? That is the most common thing that'll happen. You'll eat something bad and then the next day you'll just feel a little bit funky in your head. Now imagine doing this repeatedly, right, for years on end, like the average population do with their shit-house diets, okay? And eating all the crap in the world. When you have large amounts of crap continually irritating the gut, it is going to give you huge anxiety. The reason for this is, number one, the high levels of inflammation actually, like stemming from your gut, can actually lead to inflammation in the brain, which then consequently causes a reduction in this hormone called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotropic factor, which elevates your neurotransmitter levels and also increases nerve production, okay? And it also just generally makes the brain function far, far less or far poorer than what it normally should. The other thing that happens is when you ruin the gut and you start irritating the gut, you then start irritating the neurotransmitters themselves. You stop the neurotransmitter producing cells which are in the gut. Literally all the neurotransmitters, or the vast, vast majority of neurotransmitters, are actually produced in the gut. Okay? So if you ruin the gut, you then ruin the neurotransmitters with them, and that causes the anxiety. So you get the reduction in GABA, you get the reduction of serotonin, you get the reduction of dopamine, okay? And they all come down to make you feel like crap. The next thing that a lot of people do, particularly in the fitness industry, is they won't eat enough. People are so concerned about these fucking muppets saying, well, all you need is a calorie deficit. Just eat less. Calorie deficit, calorie deficit. Stay in a calorie deficit if you don't want to put on fat. These people are so concerned with minimizing their calorie intake that actually gives themselves anxiety, because when you are in a calorie deficit, it's actually very, very stressful. So for those of you who don't know, a calorie deficit is when you're eating a low number of calories or a small amount of food, and you're expending more energy through exercise and day-to-day activities than what you're putting in. Right? That is what it is. That is very, very stressful on the body. And over time, it actually depletes your GABA levels. That's why with my guys, we will use a periodized schedule where we'll have periods in a calorie deficit and periods in a calorie surplus. And we'll actually modulate our calories. And we'll also keep our calories and our food volume as high as possible. Okay? So being in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time is a great way to give yourself anxiety. All right? The next thing that you need to look at is you need to look at the foods that you're eating. Are you eating stuff that you actually enjoy? Food is one of the most pleasurable things that you can have in your life. It is a very social activity, eating that is. Very, very social. You enjoy it, you get a whole heap of pleasure hormones from it. It's fantastic. That's why I encourage my guys to eat chocolate every day. Alright? Avocado, nuts, steak, chicken, whatever you like. I like to get my guys to eat as much as they can. Even gummy bears every single day. Okay? You need to make sure that you're eating your food and you're actually enjoying it. You're having a lot of fun. I do every day. Every single day I'll be there smashing chocolate. In the morning I have bacon and eggs. Every single day I have bacon and eggs. When I need to eat more calories, I actually have Wheat Bix with golden syrup on top of it before I eat my bacon and eggs in order to stimulate an insulin spike, okay? I'll then move on to my next meal and I eat daily fuels food. And so Gemma will whip me up, some pork dish or whatever it is. Better than I can cook, because I can't cook to save myself. But yeah, she'll whip me something awesome up and I'll just eat that. And it's fantastic. I love every single meal that I eat. So I always eat really, really good food all the time. I don't eat like a dickhead, but I eat to enjoy at the same time. And that's what you need to do. The next thing that you can do is you can look at optimizing your supplement intake. So if we go right back to the start and we look at what is anxiety. Anxiety is the stress response. When you get anxiety, you get a reduction in GABA. That is the primary thing that we see with people with anxiety, particularly in type A's. So, for example, for people like you and I, we will generally tend to be workaholics as opposed to those who don't work. I know for me, completely, that I will happily work 16 hours in a day. It is really quite easy for me to work 12 plus hours in a day. Doesn't really bother me whatsoever. What I can't do is I can't sleep 12 hours a night to save myself. I could not do it. Absolute pain. And that's a really good sign of a GABA deficiency. Not a good sign, a really big sign of a GABA deficiency. And a lot of you guys will be able to relate to this. You'll have so much going on in your busy lives, you just don't want to slow down. You don't want to chill out. You don't want to relax. Okay? And that is because you have an inherent GABA deficiency. Right? The easiest way to fix this is to supplement with GABA and GABA precursors. So, the two easiest ones are, number one, just take GABA, alright? 500 milligrams to up to like 6 grams of GABA a day, you can take that easy, no worries. Number 2 is taking a little bit of phenibut. In Australia, that's going to be banned in the next 8 months or so. So get in quick and get some because it's fantastic. We're taking a little bit of phenibut, or phenibut as some people call it. Now, the other thing that we need to look at is we need to look at the interrelation between serotonin and GABA. All right? When you have low levels of GABA, you also get low levels of serotonin, the feel-good hormone. Now, serotonin is a general target of most antidepressant medication, and for the most part, I see this as actually incorrect for a lot of people because it doesn't really work too well. But when you combine GABA and serotonin manipulation together, they actually become really, really effective. So while you're supplementing with the GABA stuff, you also supplement with your serotonin-enhancing neurotransmitter supplements at the same time. So you can smash, your 5-HTP, your inositol, your rhodiola, those sorts of things, and that will actually have a synergistic effect with the GABA, making you feel a whole heap better. After this, you also want to minimize your adrenaline. You see, when you get low levels of GABA, because you're not sleeping well and you're getting high levels of adenosine in your brain trying to slow you down, your body's fighting against each other, you then naturally go and you reach for that black coffee in the morning. You just reach for a strong coffee in the morning to keep yourself going. You need to reduce this if you want to get rid of your anxiety because, well, let's be honest, if I have like literally 1 cup of coffee, my anxiety is like off the chain immediately. My heart starts thumping, my brain starts spinning, all that sort of stuff, and it can really mess me up if I have too much. And the same thing goes for you guys. If you are more prone to having anxiety, if you are more prone to getting these negative feelings, you need to minimize your caffeine intake, okay? That is what you need to do. The next thing that you need to do is you need to optimize your dopamine levels. When you have high levels of dopamine, you will feel fucking amazing. I tell you right now, my dopamine levels are pumping. I smash the tyrosine every single day, and I naturally have very, very high levels of dopamine. It is absolutely fantastic. You cannot beat the feeling of having high levels of dopamine. It is awesome, straight out awesome. You think better, you're more confident, you present better, you talk better, you feel amazing 24/7, all right? If you are not feeling like that, start supplementing with some dopamine precursors such as, tyrosine, any of the racetams, aniracetam, premiracetam, piracetam, anything you can get your hands on. Those things are absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. I'd highly, highly recommend you do those. Optimally, do everything together. And that's it, guys. Really, to alleviate your anxiety, it isn't that hard. Well, it is actually that hard. It is quite hard if you don't know what to do. But I've just given you a really, really easy to go guide to get you started. Now, if you want to really get on top of it and you need a bit of a hand, then feel free to just shoot us an inbox and we can help you through this. Because the thing is, when you alleviate your anxiety, you also alleviate your fat loss issues. So the two things that go hand in hand are anxiety and poor levels of fat loss, all right? People who can't lose fat literally all the time have anxiety. All right, that's what I see anyway, and I've trained a fair few people by now, so I'm pretty confident with making that generalization, that assumption, okay? So yes, make sure that you alleviate your anxiety so that the rest of your lifts will ascend as you feel a whole heap better. Your mind and your body are massively connected because, well, your mind controls your neurotransmitters, which control your hormones, which control how your body functions, all right? If you want to make optimal gains, you need to control what's up here just as much as what you do physically, all right? Now, on that note, let's get into the questions. If you guys have any questions, comment them down. I'm going to go through them with you all now. Also, on that note as well, for those of you who have just joined up and weren't with us before, make sure you click like or you comment or something so that you can keep seeing these videos. If you don't, these won't pop up in your newsfeed. Rightio. What have we got? G'day Dale, how are you, mate? Semi-Restifo. Show to bait your recent vid on the BS diets out there. Lol, detox was the best. Guys, if you haven't seen it, go watch the video that I put up on Thursday night, okay? It was about all the bullshit diets out there because there are some fucking shockers, guys, and you want to make sure that you don't get sucked in. Paul Evans just said, cut out sugar and caffeine and alcohol to reduce anxiety. Really, really good point, Paul. When you cut out sugar, you actually increase levels of that hormone called BDNF, the one that I touched on just before, okay? When you have higher levels of BDNF, you feel better because you make more dopamine, more neurotransmitters, and your nerves, which is your brain, regenerate much, much faster. Whereas if you have high levels of sugar, it actually transiently drops down the BDNF, so you want to do that. Next thing is cutting caffeine and cutting alcohol. no-brainers. When you drink alcohol, you slightly reduce your dopamine and your GABA, all right, and that can go for a couple of days afterwards. That is why I really don't like drinking. I just literally don't drink at all, because I'll not only notice the physical effects from a hangover, for the next day, but also the mental and the cognitive effects for literally the next 5 days after that. Anthony has just said, bro, I don't have gym buddies, so I gym alone and struggle with motivation. How do I keep myself motivated? Mate, I only have gym buddies because, I've got Abdel, who's an absolute whiz, an absolute genius. And that's the only reason I train with him. Other than that, I don't train with anyone, man. The thing is, why I get in the gym is because I fucking love it, man. It is the best part of my day every single day. And if it's not the best part of your day, man, what are you doing? You can't beat the gym. There is nothing better than getting into the gym, lifting some heavy shit, getting a sick pump on, getting bigger, and watching the progress. Man, if you're not making progress, okay, you need to fix that. Inbox the boys, we'll help you out, shoot us a message, we'll help you out and make sure that you're there. The main things that will motivate you are, number one, just wanting to do it. If you just want to get in the gym and your neurotransmitters are primed, your brain's on point, your gut's on point, your body's functioning optimally, you will just want to do it. You won't need motivation. You'll be like, well, I really fucking want to go, so I'm going to go do it. You don't have to G yourself up. The next thing is, if you're constantly seeing results, you get addicted to it, man. You get hooked. Alright, that is exactly how it should be. And if you're not seeing those results, then yeah, we need to chat, man. You need to shoot us an inbox, and we need to make sure that that's fixed up. Okay? And the thing after that is, you need to think about, why would you not want to be in the gym? It's fun, you look good, the benefits are, limitless, literally. So you need to make sure that you get your head right. You need to start thinking straight about why you should be there and what's really holding you back. Because you should not be reliant on somebody else to do it. I've done, I've done like 10 shows or something like that now. A lot of bodybuilding shows. And I haven't had a training partner for any of them. Not one. Zero. Zero of those shows. I pushed through by myself every single time just because I loved it, and there was no other reason to it. There's no reason why you can't do that yourself. Now, Mephiza just said, motivation is temperamental, build good habits through discipline. That is completely correct. The thing is, when you build good habits through being disciplined, you will inevitably get better long-term results. You see, the thing what I piece together with motivation is all these bullshit fucking 8 and 12 week challenges, alright? You see these going around all the time. This is the biggest craze with these online PTs. All these cookie cutter online PTs who've literally done the same fucking course as every single other one of them. That's why they all look the same and do the same stuff. They're all doing these same 8 and 12 week things because they're a very good marketing thing, because they prey on people's motivation. 8 or 12 week challenges are bullshit. I literally don't offer those challenges whatsoever. I refuse to do it. I'll never do an 8 or 12 week challenge, okay? When somebody trains with me, they'll train with me for a minimum of 8 weeks. And what we do at the end of the 8 weeks, we then look at the goals and what they next want to hit. Because this is a lifestyle for you guys. It's not a fucking 8 or 12 week challenge. 8 or 12 week challenges, they are preying on your motivation. That is using motivation. The thing that you see at the end of those 8 and 12 week challenges that people run all the time is that the results just go to shit, right? They get to the end of the 8 week challenge, they've done really well, worked their ass off, lost all their motivation, bang, they lose it, and they regress to further backwards than where they were when they started, okay? So yeah, don't use motivation. It is, as Nafiz said, it is temperamental, it is temporary, it is transient, okay? Build good habits and make it a lifestyle so that you live better, you live longer, you live stronger, you live bigger, you live leaner, and you make the most out of your life. That is why you should be lifting. Matty Fletcher, how are you, legend? Good to have you here. Matty's just asked, I struggle taking 2 rest days a week. I feel guilty and a lot of the time end up going to the gym and doing an abs and carbs or abs and cardio gym session. Is this okay if I've got the energy, or should I be taking the 2 days rest? Matty, mate, you're on my programs. I know what you're doing. If you can take 2 days rest on my programs, you're not lifting hard enough. You need to train harder, right? There is no reason that any of you guys here should not be absolutely buggered off doing a 5-day split, even a 4-day split, okay? You should be able to push yourself so hard in the gym that on 4 exercises, you're absolutely cooked. I was training one of my clients the other day, Keithy. Keithy came in to do a session with me, and I showed him at the intensity at which I trained. We literally hit 4 exercises, okay? 4 exercises, that was it. And all we did was we hit failure, absolute technical failure on every single exercise. And by the end of it, Keithy was buggered, I was buggered, and that was it. It was an hour, done and dusted, in and out, fat pump, absolutely exhausted, cooked. Okay, done. If you're not doing that, if that's not what your session's like, where you're absolutely buggered by the end of it and you're not pushing through failure, you're hitting technical failure, you're not training hard enough. You need to train harder, man. I tell you what, I love my rest days because they're the 2 days of the week where I can actually sit down and I can sleep a little bit longer and I can recover because I'm so rooted from all the other sessions that I do. You need to make sure you're training harder, big fella, because my training programs are fucked, all right? Straight up, they're fucked. You need to train harder. You need to make them count more. Eric has just asked, where do you get GABA? Is it just a supplement? Yes, you get GABA from iherb.com. It's spelled GABA. Alright, just buy it on there. Matty Fletcher says, Wheat Bix, gluten-free Wheat Bix or normal ones? Gluten-free Wheat Bix all the way. Guys, there's nothing worse for your gut than gluten. As I said earlier, I went out last night actually yesterday, had a friend's birthday, so I was just out in Bondi, chilling around there with a few of my mates. Okay, and they had these taco things, $15, all you can eat tacos. I was like, fuck yes, get me onto that, I want that. And so I got them, and then I started hooking into these tacos. I didn't even think. I was like, stupid white people, of course you're going to make tacos with flour tortillas, not corn tortillas. Idiot, white people, fucking white people. But yeah, so they gave me some gluten in there, and dead set this morning it absolutely smashed me. So yes, I'll never be eating gluten. There is no benefit in eating gluten. It is the pit. Ruins your gut, ruins your neurotransmitters, ruins your performance, and it can actually change your posture for the worse. So yeah, man, never will I be eating glutinous Wheat Bix, gluten-free all the way. Jackson Jones. Hey James, if I want to lose fat but still keep muscle, would not have protein shakes in my diet help shred that stubborn body fat? Jackson, you need to watch my last video from Thursday, brother, alright? Drinking protein shakes isn't going to do shit. All they do is they increase your protein intake, which is good, all right? That's a good thing, having more protein. But just because you've got a protein shake called Muscle Ripped or Thermo Max or any of that shit, doesn't mean it's actually going to do anything. They don't do that, it's just bullshit. Drinking a shake doesn't make you burn fat. What makes you burn fat is having a healthy gut, expending more energy, reducing your anxiety, and feeling good. That is what does it, okay? Energy balance and looking after your health is what makes you shred your stubborn body fat. Inbox us now if you need a hand. I'll make sure that the boys are paying special attention to you so we can look after you. Ryan Trong. Cute guy and nice body, and he can really talk, and I love his accent, especially when he cusses. He. Aw, thank you, Ryan. That's cute. Appreciate it. Made my day. Al Bittick, just wondering what your thoughts are on coffee before and after eating, within 1 hour, prior, after. I don't care about coffee as long as you don't have anxiety and as long as it doesn't make you feel bad. Everything is good as long as it makes you feel good, so it's really up to you. There's no difference when drinking coffee before or after eating. If you're like me and you get really frazzled after having your coffee, then yes, you have a little bit of fat with it and it'll actually slow down the absorption. Mark Hawkins. Hey James, what do you think of coconut milk kefir? Keep it coming, brother. Mate, coconut milk kefir will be fine, okay? It'll do the job to be a very good probiotic. Nafiz. Papa Shred. That's me, Papa Shred. I like to have one black coffee in the morning, not because I need it, I just enjoy it. Will this increase my susceptibility to anxiety? I won't take it if that's the case. One black coffee in the morning won't increase your susceptibility to anxiety if you're managing all the other areas of your life, okay? So me, myself, I'm more prone to anxiety than whatnot. I've got a family history of it, all that sort of stuff. Yet I can still manage a black coffee every now and then if I have it smartly. You just need to make sure that your neurotransmitters are nice and balanced, and then you'll be fine with taking it. Anthony. Bro, I want to be shredded and lean but still retain muscle mass. Is it possible and how? Yeah, bro, have you seen me? You know what I mean? I'm kind of growing and getting leaner at the same time. Very, very easy. Just shoot us an inbox and we'll help you out. Josh Wilson. Hey mate, pretty much just popped in. I'm from Australia. I could really use help with anxiety, feeling confident in that dopamine side of things. Can I get these supplements in? As you mentioned, I'm still on all kinds of meds and it's barely working. Mate, you are not the only one who is on all kinds of meds and it's barely working, okay? It's actually frustratingly common, which is really, really shit. Shoot us an inbox, mate. We'll help you out and we'll make sure that you do get sorted with that. Clint Chalmers. Hey mate, have you ever experienced stomach cramps from MCT oil? Had some with my breakfast this morning and had stomach cramps all day. Yes, dude, that's really, really common, Clint. Heaps of people get messed up from MCT oil. So just cut it out and don't worry about it, man. Drew Johnson. Mate, just want to thank the guys who commented on my post last week. Just did shoulders and killed it. No training partner required. My man, Drew, you are killing it, brother. Michael Snell, how are you, legend? Connor Inch. Connor's just backed up saying that with MCT oil, it's very, very common to get stomach cramps. Just start with a really small dose and build up progressively, which may help. All right. So those of you who are using MCT oil and having issues with it, that's what you do. Graphy. The gym for the majority of the population is all about training their mouths. Do not fall in this trap. Be an individual, train your ass off, sweat and run yourself into the deck. People will see what you're doing, respect your work ethic, in turn your self-esteem will skyrocket. Join the club. Graphy, I got fucking motivated reading that. Well said, very well said. Okay? Alright guys, look, on that note, I'm going to go out for a feed with a couple of my mates. So, I'll leave you all to it. As always, if you have any more questions, ask away, okay? We are here to help you out. I am here to help you out. I have a whole team. JCF is not just me. There are 11 of us, going on 13 of us here to help you, okay? We're here to answer your questions, give you advice. If you guys need a hand with anything, just get in touch. Shoot us an inbox, shoot us a message, leave us a comment, join the Shred community, get amongst it, and we will be there to help you, okay? On that note, guys, I'll leave you to it. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much for coming, and I'll see you next time. Big love, Puppy Shred. Out.